Hey everybody, my name is Tiffany, and I am a person who stutters and a speech language pathologist. Welcome back to my channel if you're one of my subscribers or viewers. What I'm going to be talking about today is how to respond to negative reactions from people when they're responding to your stuttering. So this is something that happens to a lot of people who stutter, where we stutter and someone reacts kind of negatively. It makes us feel not great about ourselves because of their reaction. So I think that there are a number of ways that we can respond, but there are some that maybe make us feel better in the long run than others. I'm going to share two experiences where kind of there were different reactions from me and my friends. So first of all, one time I was at big stuttering conference. And so there were like a bunch of people who stutter, like thousands of people who stutter, and everyone kind of got it and knew what it was like to have a negative reaction and, kind of had that shared experience of how bad it feels. And so I went up to a bar, and I tried to order a drink, and I stuttered. And the bartender kept interrupting me and being rude to me. And eventually he grabbed like a napkin and a pen and was like, "You can't talk, so just write it out." And kind of threw the napkin at me. And I was very offended by that. And of course I responded being like, "No, just give me a second. Like, I can say it." I didn't say all that, but and so I continued to verbally order, and I got my order out, and he got me a beer, and that was it. But then I came up to him later, and tried to order another drink, and he first of all didn't serve me until I was the very last person, even though I was not the last person to arrive to the bar. And then when he did serve me, he immediately recognized me and talked to my friend who was next to me and was like, "She can't talk. Can you talk for her? Can you order for her?" And my friend was like, "No." She had heard the story of him earlier, and she was an ally. She wasn't a person who stutters, but she was an ally. And so she was like, "No, she can order for herself." And so I tried, and he kept interrupting me and not listening to me. And eventually he just walked away, literally just turned his back and walked to the other side of the bar as I'm trying to order, as I'm stuttering. And then he was gone for several minutes, and I got emotional, and so did my friend. And he came back, and I immediately was like, "Look, man, this isn't okay. There are thousands of people who stutter here right now, and the way that you have treated me tonight really isn't acceptable. You need to be patient and wait for us to order, and not treat us this way. So I would really appreciate if you didn't, if you just let me order." And he was like, "I've been waiting for you to order all night." And so then I was like, okay, well, he didn't really get the message, but I did my part, I tried. And so I continued ordering, and he got mad because he's like, "I guessed your order earlier." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to you because I was trying to talk." And yeah. And so then he made my drink, but very sloppily kind of pushed the beer to me and spilled some of it. And I don't know, he was just really kind of annoyed with the situation. And yeah, so that was that. I mean, it was a really negative reaction. It was a really negative experience. But the way that I dealt with it, I was trying to be not emotional and to not make him feel defensive, but just to educate him in a very objective way so that he understands and doesn't feel attacked, because then he's not going to change. He's going to feel defensive and feel bad and maybe even feel worse about people who stutter because of that. And so I tried to take the perspective of let me educate you so you change the way you interact with the next person. And I don't know if he did or not, but the thing about that reaction was that afterwards, I told some of my friends who stutter about it, and they were very upset because they know what it feels like. But the way that they responded was not the way that I wish they had. They themselves went to management and told my story and tried to get him in trouble, and they did. And that was, fine and all, because he needed to be, disciplined and change his ways. But the way they did it was very disempowering to me because they took my voice away. So like, instead of being like, can I go to management with you? Like, let's deal with this together. They didn't even ask me what I wanted. And they didn't really respect what I wanted because they knew I didn't really want to do that. So, there was good intentions there, and I'm not mad at them because of it, but the way that they responded was not preferred. And he did not change his ways. He felt attacked after that. And I heard he reacted to people negatively in the future experiences. And, my thing about that is that the next time he meets someone who stutters, he's going to remember how negative he felt about that experience. Yes, he did something wrong, but he's less likely to change what he does because he feels personally attacked. And so he's more likely to have a negative reaction to us as a group of people. So that's not a great way to deal with it because that doesn't create social change. So you need to be able to remove yourself from the situation so that you can impact the way that other people experience these reactions and, try to change them so that they're more positive. So let me tell you about one that was positive, that I think was the way that I wanted to handle it, and I think really made a difference. So recently I went to a different conference, a speech therapy conference. So like there weren't that many people who stutter. And I was out with my co-workers, and we wanted to get a picture. And so I went up to a couple on the street, and I asked them, hey, can you take our picture? And I stuttered as I'm doing it. And the guy was very nice, and he took the phone and started taking it. But his girlfriend or wife or whatever was like, do you need a warmer coat? Are you cold? And she was stuttering as she was doing it like I just did. And I was very kind and sweet. And I said, oh no, I'm fine. I'm a person who stutters. And kind of just like that. And then she felt bad. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. And, as he's taking our picture, it was very awkward for everyone. And her husband or boyfriend or whatever kind of made her feel bad. He's like, oh, remember that one time you were a jerk, or whatever. And like, she was like apologizing and was like, oh, I didn't mean to say it, I didn't understand because I do that, when I'm cold, I like stutter or whatever. And she just felt really bad. You could just like watch her kind of breaking down as the interaction went on. And after we took our picture, she got to me and she was like, I'm so sorry, I really am, and she just, totally changed the way she thought about the situation. And she walked away feeling like an awful person. And I encouraged her. I'm just like, it's okay. It happens all the time. I understand, it's okay. But you know what? Like, because of the way she reacted to my response, it makes me think that the next time she meets someone who stutters, she's not going to do that. And so I think it's really important to kind of take these examples as a way to view these negative reactions. So if you take this like perspective that I am hurt and I'm going to react to them out of that emotion, you're more likely to be angry and defensive and to make them feel bad because you feel bad. And that, makes us feel good in the moment. But in the long run, we are just more angry, and they aren't necessarily likely to change their perspectives and to change the way they interact. They might, it might be true, but they're going to feel worse about it, which makes them at least have a different perspective towards us as a group of people. It sucks to have to kind of represent your group all the time. That's like one of the struggles with being a minority, is you kind of have to, you feel like you have to represent your group of people all the time. And that's hard, but in the long run, if you kill them with kindness, if you are kind and you educate them and you are an advocate and you interact with them in a way that makes them feel not attacked, I think they're more likely to change. And that's how we create social change, is through exposure, desensitization, essentially, education, and being in, education about what is happening, like being told, oh, this is a person who stutters, but then also being educated, like, this is how I should respond next time I meet someone. So I think that's really important. I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. I feel like this has been kind of a theme in my life, where the way that I respond, if I respond in this way, people are much more kind and we have much better interactions than if I respond out of anger. But I would love to hear your perspectives if that's not true for you. So leave them in the comments below, subscribe, like my channel, all that stuff, and I will see you guys later.